the record button. Maybe you could do that now. And if you do not want to appear in the chat or appear recorded in this session, then you know, don't put your name in, don't turn your camera on. Otherwise, you know, we just use this for internal purposes if a learner couldn't make it and is interested in seeing it, or a career advisor. So tonight we hope to have not only a presentation, which we will, we're going to have a couple of presentations. We're going to have information in the form of a presentation by our guest, and we're also going to have some conversation. So we will invite you at those times of conversation to turn your camera on and your microphone and talk to us. However, we know not everybody's comfortable doing that. So if you aren't comfortable, we welcome you to chat, to use the chat box and type some things in there. And Daisy, I think we might need some, I'm not sure, I'm hearing some background noise. So. The agenda for our meeting is introductory information, I should say, and quick hello. So we're well into that part of it. Then I'm going to turn it over to Amelia Gavina, and she's going to tell us about the Illinois Department of Human Services and career opportunities with them. And then we'll have some question and answers and exchanges. And then following that, we'll have a little bit of resume advice and tips from Amelia for all of you. So, by the way, if you have a resume on the computer, if you're on a computer and watching this, and if you have a resume saved, and if you'd like Amelia to take a look at it, we'd be happy to have you share it, and Amelia could give you some feedback. Otherwise, we have a couple of our own that will be ready to share. So I want to make an announcement about access and accommodations. Your experience here at Southern New Hampshire University is very important to us. It's our policy and practice to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. If there's any aspects of instruction or course design that present barriers to accessibility, please notify the Online Accessibility Center, OAC for short, as soon as possible. They can be reached at 866-305-9430, or their email is OAC@snu.edu. So my name is Mark Shappert. I am the host this evening, and I'm joined by actually two of my colleagues, but Daisy Gillum is the main person who's assisting me tonight. She's another employer relations partner in our department, and we are both from SNHU Career Advising. And tonight's guest is Amelia Gavina. And Amelia, I got this from LinkedIn, so I hope it's up to date. It said you're a Senior Public Service Administrator title. And I know you are involved in the human resources function, so you can tell us a little more about that if you'd like when we turn over to you in a minute. Both Daisy and myself are part of a large career team. Now, this picture was taken a couple of years ago, so Daisy isn't in it, but I'm in it if you can find me there anywhere. We have a large team, as you can see, and we are most happy to work with you and assist you with any career-related needs you have while you're at SNHU or even after graduation. So if you're not familiar with us, maybe you want to jot down that number or our email address and get in touch with us, and someone will get back to you shortly and see how we can support you. So what I'd like to do now is just have a few people say hello. I'd love to have some students that are with us tonight. Maybe start off by putting your name, your major, where you're from. I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I think there might be some of that in there already. But if you haven't put your name, your program of study, and where you're located, please do that in the chat. And if we have any career advisors with us, you can put your name and indicate you're a career advisor and where you're located. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And if anybody wants to actually say hello, we would love to have you turn your camera on and give us a quick hi. So I guess you can you see me down there? Hi. Mark Shappert. And Amelia. Hi, Amelia. There we go. Hannah.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Amelia. I'm Hannah Royce. I'm an internship administrator, and I'm located in New Hampshire. Thank you so much for holding this session.
Thanks for coming, Hannah. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Anyone? Well, hopefully you'll warm up as we get going here. And I do see folks in the chat, so that's great. Thank you for putting your information in there. So at this point then, I think we are ready to have Amelia tell us about the Illinois Department of Human Services. So Amelia, do you see where you can share your screen up at the top? And you're muted, by the way.
Mark, do you maybe want to stop sharing your screen so that she can share?
Yes, that would help, wouldn't it? There we go.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Amelia Cavina, and I'm from the Illinois Department of Human Services, Bureau of Recruitment and Selection. I will be your presenter today. If you have any questions as I present along the way, please enter your questions in the chat, and I will answer all your questions towards the end during the Q&A.
Amelia, looks like you got muted somehow. So we see your slides, but we're not hearing you at the moment.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so our objectives are to learn the benefits of working with the state of Illinois, identify future career opportunities, and understand the application process. So just to give you some background on IDHS, we are composed of 6 divisions. 2 of our divisions operate 24/7, and those are the Division of Developmental Disabilities and the Division of Mental Health. Each division has 7 facilities throughout the state of Illinois, and the Division of Developmental Disability, what they do is they deliver quality programs and services to individuals with disabilities. The Division of Mental Health ensures that people with mental illness and emotional disturbances have access to adequate mental health care and services. We have the Division of Family and Community Services, and they manage programs like the WIC, Medicaid, SNAP, cash assistance, affordable child care services for families in need. The Division of Rehabilitation Services has 75 offices and 3 schools for the deaf and visually impaired, and they help people with disabilities achieve independent living through employment and educational programs. The Division of Substance Use and Prevention and Recovery, they fund over 1,000 programs statewide that offer preventative treatment, recovery, and intervention services. And finally, our newest division is the Division of Early Childhood. And basically, they administer community-based prevention and intervention programs for adults and children to help them make better choices and utilize support systems and access the various programs and services available that will help them achieve self-sufficiency. So why work for the state? Well, I will tell you, we offer a robust benefit package, and the best part of our benefits is that your health, dental, and vision insurance start day 1. There is no waiting period. And just to highlight a few of the benefits, we offer a state pension, a deferred compensation program to help you save for retirement. We offer tuition reimbursement of up to 100%. And we also offer a loan forgiveness program. If you work for the government for 10 years and you're able to prove that you've made all your student loan payments on time, then what they will do is forgive your loan balance. But then again, that is after 10 years of employment. We also offer sick days, personal days, holiday. If you are bilingual and we hire you for a position that requires you to use a second language, you are compensated. We pay you an additional 5% of your annual salary. Those are just a few of our benefits. So to highlight some of our high need areas, these positions listed on this slide require either a bachelor's, they require some kind of college coursework and or a professional license. So one of our very popular positions is the social services career trainee, which requires a bachelor's. And what this program does is when you start with the agency, we will train you on all the programs and services that are available to the residents of Illinois. So as clients visit our office with some kind of need, then basically you meet with them, you assess their case, and then you recommend to them which programs and services they may qualify for and guide them through the application process. This is a really nice position to give you a strong foundation, and it also allows you in 6 months, you can definitely apply for a promotional opportunity, which would then be the social services caseworker. So there's nice promotional track systems in place for positions with IDHS to help you grow within your career. And we're such a large agency. We employ about 14,000 employees, and over 53% of our staff is diverse, so that's very important as well. So the size of our agency, again, allows you to grow in your career within our agency. Also, the activity therapists, and what they do is they develop and provide groups and individual activity therapy programs to meet the interests of our residents. We have the rehabilitation counselor trainee, and they work with clients to help them gain and maintain competitive employment. They also help clients access resources and services, and ultimately our goal is to help them remain living independently in their own homes and communities. So the application process, we also often hear that it's very complicated, it's confusing, there's a lot of internal jargon that not everyone really understands what it means, but no worries, that's why we offer these presentations. So if you're looking for employment, the first thing you want to do is visit our website, and it's a very user-friendly website. Now earlier, I should have mentioned that we are just one of over 80 agencies that report to the state of Illinois. The nice thing is we are the largest agency. So if you go to the website, dhs.state.il.us/jobs, this website, all the 80 agencies share the same website. So any of the 80 agencies that are hiring will have their jobs listed on this website, which is really nice and easy for you to identify government jobs that are available within the state of Illinois. So searching for jobs is very easy. You can either search by job title, closing date, the type of the category of the position you're looking for, if it's management, if it's clerical, if it's in healthcare, if it's in information services, if it's in finance. We have a large accounting and finance department as well. So basically, all of our positions with the state of Illinois are full-time, or I should say with the Department of Human Services are full-time. We do offer a few part-time positions, but those are usually just nursing opportunities. So you want to, when you visit our website, you can create a job search. Once the positions populate, we ask you to be definitely review the job posting. Our jobs only post for 14 days. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to the application closing date so that you don't miss the opportunity of submitting your application. You can also create job alerts so that you don't miss out on any future employment opportunities. If you create job alerts, anytime positions become available for the specific titles you're interested in, you will receive an email alerting you that these positions are now available. All right, so we are in the process of transitioning from a paper PDF document as our employment application to an online applicant tracking system. So what you'll find is some of our titles will require you to submit a CMS 100 employment application, which is basically a PDF document. And other titles will require you to apply online. But nevertheless, the specific instructions for each position are listed under the job postings. So as far as the application process, some titles will require the CMS 100 with no exam. Other titles will require the CMS 100 and plus they will require an exam as well. And then there's the online application. Any application that, any job title that requires an online application, you will not receive a grade in the mail for. We do not grade those applications. So as far as any position that requires a CMS 100 employment application, you will receive a grade in the mail. If the title does not require an exam, you're basically being graded based on how you fill out your CMS 100 employment application and how your background experience and skills compare to the required experience and education and skills that are listed on the job posting. If the position requires an exam, then someone from our testing center will contact you to schedule a date and time for you to complete an exam at one of our testing centers. So again, searching for a job, you can search by keyword, you can select the agency out of the 80 agencies that are listed. You obviously, I would say, select the Department of Human Services, and then you can search by job function as well. Let's see here. Just a couple tips when you're reviewing the job postings. Remember, we only post for 14 days. If you submit your application after the closing date, unfortunately, we won't be able to process it. Make sure your application states the specific job you're applying for and that it includes the job ID as well. That's how we identify which position you are interested in. So filling out the online application is basically all you have to do is hit the apply button, which is listed on the posting, and then it'll take you to the system will ask you to create a profile and will also ask you to upload a resume. And the nice thing is once you upload your resume, and you don't have to have a resume to apply online, but it definitely helps if you do, the system will automatically retract the information from your resume and populate it in the correct categories on the online application. And then it's going to ask you to answer a few questions regarding your experience and your knowledge and skills, and then you'll submit. Once you create a profile, you'll never have to create it again unless you make, you have any updates or changes to your profile. So that's the nice thing. If the position requires you to complete a CMS 100, this is the first page of the CMS 100, and it, don't let this application scare you. It is 14 pages long. However, 10 of those pages are dedicated to employment history and experience and so on. But most people don't need all 10 pages of experience. So maybe you'll fill out 6 to 7 pages. But on the first page, it is important that you include the specific job title you're interested in, include the bid ID number, which you will find on the posting. We still require a full social security number, but it's only for titles that require a CMS 100. This is the way the agency keeps track of your candidacy. So if you submit an application, a CMS 100 application with a shortened social security number, it will not be processed. The application will also allow you to select 2 counties that you are willing and able to travel to work. So if you live, depending on where you live, let's say you live in Chicago, it's such a large county, you may only be willing to travel within the Cook County. But if you live like me, I live in the suburbs, I can travel to probably 4 different counties. So you might, it is to your advantage to include 2 counties because if you get a passing grade when your application is graded, you will be added to the eligible to hire list for the specific title that you applied for under two separate counties, increasing the chances of getting, and, receiving employment with the state. Now, the next section of the application is where you can enter any certifications, licensures, or degrees. Make sure you fill out this section exactly with the information it's asking for. Be very detailed, as detailed as possible. And remember, this is your opportunity to sell yourself. And the application is graded. So for titles that don't require an exam, we're looking at how your background meets the requirements that are listed on the job posting. So make sure you include all the information on this section. This is probably the most popular section as to, we get most questions. People don't really understand how to fill this out. And basically what the state is looking for is for you to include the total hours earned broken down by subject area. On the bottom of the page, it got cut off in this slide, but there is a section where if there are any courses on here that or any courses you've taken that are not on this page, you can enter those courses on the bottom of this page. But it's pretty easy. They just want to know the credit hours you've obtained broken down by subject area. And the following section would be is asking for your experience. This is again work experience. This is again where you want to be super detailed. The state wants to see what you've done, but they also want to know for how long, because that does impact your grade. The more experience you have, obviously, the better grade you'll receive. If you held more than one title within an organization, definitely break those, titles down, including the duties and responsibilities. The state will also give you credit for non-paid experience. So if you have volunteer or internship experience, you also want to include that in this section because we will give you credit for that. Now, I mentioned earlier that if the position you apply for requires a CMS 100, you will receive a grade, either because you took an exam or because we graded your application. The CMS 100. So there are two ways to receive a grade notice, and both you're going to receive a grade notice via mail for the positions that don't require an exam. If the position does require an exam, you're going to receive your grade notice as soon as you complete your exam. A passing grade would be either an A, B, or C. The notice on the left is an example of a grade notice for a position that does not require an automated test. And again, this notice is issued via mail. It typically takes about 8 to 10 weeks to receive this grade notice in the mail. The grade notice will include the title that you applied for, the grade, the exam date, and if you receive a passing grade, you will be added to the eligible to hire list. Your grade notice is good for 1 year from the date on your grade notice. So in this case, if we look at the grade notice, this person received their grade notice March 8 of 2021. Being that it's now April, if this person has not received a job offer for the specific title that they applied for, then let's say if they've not been employed by March 8th of 2022, then their name falls off the eligible to hire list and they have to start the process over again. The grade notice on the right is an example of a grade notice for a position that requires you to take a multi-choice exam at one of our testing centers. The exams are typically an hour and a half, 2 or 3 hours, depending on the title. And again, the nice thing is you will walk out of the testing center with your grade, and it gives a breakdown of your of how you did. And then here is a map listing where our testing centers are located: Chicago, Springfield, Champaign, Marianne, and Rockford. And remember, testing locations prior to COVID, you could just walk in and test. Now you have to wait for someone from our testing centers to contact you to schedule an exam. We also offer career counseling. The state has thousands and thousands of job titles, and sometimes it is difficult to understand which ones you qualify for and which ones you might not qualify for. So the career counseling staff will basically review your education, your experience, as well as your employment interest preferences, for example, salary expectations, geographical location, and they will determine which titles you apply for and would be, the best fit for. The career counselor will then provide you with a list of potential state position titles that you should be applying for, and they will also review your application and give you tips on improving your employment application. We highly recommend this service because, again, there are a lot of our titles that are unique to government. So you applied, now what? One thing we often hear is, I applied it and I've not heard back. So if you submit your application and the position was filled internally, then no action will be taken with your application. It will not be graded. It will not be processed because the position was filled internally. If the position is not filled internally, then your application will be reviewed by Central Management Services. If the position you're applying for requires an automated test, then your application will move to the testing center and they will contact you to schedule an exam. It does take about 10 to 12 weeks to receive a grade notice in the mail, and it's taking like 10 to 15 weeks to actually be contacted by one of our testing centers. Once you receive a passing grade, then your name will be added to the eligible to hire list for the counties you selected. And then as positions become available, someone from Human Resources will either contact you with a job offer or a request to schedule an interview. As positions become available, we give preference to the individuals that got received an A, then a B, and then a C. In some cases, we never make it to the C's because we had enough candidates that received an A or a B. All right, so what's next? If you have any questions regarding the process or a position, or if you would like us to review your resume and give you feedback on which positions are available that meet your background, definitely send us an email to dhs.recruitment@illinois.gov. Send us your resume. We'd be happy to review it, and we pride ourselves in returning messages within 24 hours. Our website is listed here under search for jobs, and then if you want to learn more about about the Illinois Department of Human Services, here is our website where you can learn more about the services and programs we offer the residents of Illinois. All right, so there we go. Should we open it up for questions now?
I think we should.
Perfect.
Amelia,
All right,
that was
who wants to go
amazing.
first? I try to, usually this presentation's like 40 or 45 minutes, but I think we're good. So
I appreciate you really putting on the jets and getting through it. A lot of information. So I'll start off with a question. The titles that you showed early on, social services trainee, I believe was one, and there were several others, rehabilitation counselor, et cetera. Are there currently exams for those, or because they're high need, are those positions that are being recruited for without examinations?
well, a lot of these titles did require an exam back in the day prior to COVID, but now since COVID, we've really made a lot of changes. So like the social services career trainee no longer requires an exam. Most management positions, in fact, probably all of them, will not require an exam. The ones that tend to require an exam are maybe like the clerical secretarial type positions. They want to make sure you can type a certain number of words within a minute. And maybe there may be a few positions like account clerk that might require testing, but it seems like as time goes by, less and less of our positions are requiring testing. And eventually, our goal is that by January 1st, all of our positions require an online application. And a lot of those titles, we will be abandoning the exams.
Gotcha. Great. So career advisors who are on the line, as well as students, we'd love to have you turn your camera on and talk to us and ask a question of Amelia. But if you're not comfortable doing so, feel free to put them in the chat. And maybe Daisy, if maybe you would be so kind as to read any questions, but it looks like Hannah's maybe getting in the queue to ask something. So.
Yeah. And actually, just Hannah, I'm sorry, really quick before. Amelia, do you mind if you stop sharing your screen so we can see the cameras that are turned on?
See. Okay, I think I just did. Perfect.
You did. Perfect. Okay, go ahead, Hannah. Sorry.
No worries. Hi, Amelia. Thanks for that presentation. So I'm an internship administrator, and I work specifically with our Master of Public Health students. And we have students certainly all over in that program, all over the United States. So I was wondering if your organization offers internship opportunities, and if you knew if there's any type of opportunities related to public health, and if so, how would students learn about those types of opportunities?
Yes, in fact, right now we just, I would say about 3 weeks ago, posted some internship opportunities on our website. And usually most of our internship opportunities are available during the summer. So you should expect to see those pop up, through March, April, May, even June. But yes, prior to the pandemic, we had definitely many more internship opportunities, but we're slowly getting back to that same number. But I know that today, yes, if you visit our site, there are opportunities available. And I believe some of them might even be virtual opportunities.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we've got a couple questions in the chat that I'll go ahead and field as well. So Jen's asking if there are any remote work opportunities, and if so, should the candidate be local to Illinois, or is there a different setup?
Well, we are right now analyzing which positions might work best virtually versus in the office. Most of the staff right now are working from home. The positions that require face-to-face contact, those individuals are coming into the office maybe twice, maybe 3 times a week. So we don't have a specific list of titles that will require virtual employment versus office, but we are in the process of categorizing, and I would anticipate seeing more virtual opportunities pop up on our website. The only thing I've seen right now that's virtual are like information systems positions. And if they are virtual, my understanding is that anyone can apply for those. Now, they're tagged as temporarily virtual. The idea is that in the future, if we return, or when we return to the office, those positions would just then report to the closest government office to their address. But I'm still very hopeful that these positions will eventually just be permanently virtual opportunities. But that's still up in the air.
Sure. That definitely seems to be the way of the world these days. So I'm curious to see how that unfolds. So Marvin's asking if you could please give some examples of management positions that are available as well.
We have, what you'll notice is we tend to categorize our administrative positions as public service administrators and then senior public service administrators. But in order to really find out what the specific duties and titles, you really have to read the job description. But we have a very large procurement department, finance department, huge human resource department, legal department. So we have management opportunities in all those areas. For example, the social services career trainee, there are 75 offices throughout the state of Illinois. In those offices, we hire social services administrators, supervisors. So it's hard to say, the specific titles, but if you log on to our website, you can search jobs by management, the category of management. But again, we have many opportunities in all the various areas within our agency.
Okay, great, good to know. And another question's come in. Could you talk a bit about y'all's vaccine requirements as well for the COVID vaccine?
Yes, and we do require a vaccine. Now, it's my understanding that if you have I don't want to say a waiver, but if there are, reasons, religious reasons why you're not being vaccinated, you can always submit that information and those documents to the agency. Our corporate office, which is Central Management Services, will review the information and then they will make a decision if they're going to accept them or not. But right now, the requirement is that you are vaccinated. And if you accept a position, you have to accept the position with the understanding that you will become vaccinated if you're not.
Okay, that sounds great. Good to know. And one more question's come through. Could you expand a bit on your thoughts on cover letters as it comes to your all's application process?
Well, I will tell you, when you apply to the state of Illinois, and when I say the state of Illinois, that means either IDHS or any other 80 of the 80 agencies. If we require you to fill out a CMS 100, we do not need your resume. So we definitely don't need a cover letter. In fact, your grade is solely based on your employment application. That's it. We don't look at anything else. If it's on your resume and it's not on your CMS 100 employment application, you do not get credit for it. So I would say for us, the only positions that might require a cover letter, and if we do, it will be stated on the job posting, are very high level management positions. But cover letters, I wouldn't ask you to spend time completing a cover letter if we're not going to do anything with it. But then again, there are a lot of other employers that require it, but we do not.
Sure. No, that's a great perspective. I think too, especially with such a detailed application process, I like that there's that balanced approach to the cover letter. So I appreciate that answer.
Thank you.
Hey, Daisy, there was a question up a little higher from Jen, higher in the chat list, and I can read it. It's,
Sure.
do you hire graduate nurses without experience? And Jen, when you say graduate, do you mean master's degree? Is that,
No, like sometimes we have students that, oh, can you hear me?
yeah. Mhm.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes we have BSN students that have taken their RN exam but don't have experience in the field just yet. And sometimes they have graduate nurses programs that kind of train them at the facility. So I didn't know if experience was a requirement.
Yes.
RNs.
Okay, so with the agency, there are 14 facilities throughout the state of Illinois that hire registered nurses. These facilities operate 24/7, so we hire in 3 different shifts. We offer 8-hour shifts and 12-hour shifts. We do not require any experience. If you have an associate's, and we do require a professional registered nurse license within the state of Illinois. That's all you need. We do not require any kind of experience, and we actually pay our nurses very, very well. I think the starting rate right now is like 86,000 for a new grad. And again, as long as you have your Illinois professional license, that's all we require. No experience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Time for me to go to nursing school, apparently. So a couple more a couple more questions have come in. Sam's got a great one about I guess it's kind of threefold. So internships as an international student and also technical positions as an international student, which I guess is twofold, not threefold. I apologize.
Mhm. Internships are available. We have paid and unpaid internships. Now, with international students, you can apply for any position as long as, again, you hold work authorization for those positions that will be compensating you. Um, as far as the type of positions that are available, we have a huge IS department. In fact, we have an agency called Do It, and they basically support all of the 80 agencies within the state of Illinois. So there's programmer positions, there's different analyst positions, and clearly IT is not my background, but we basically have something for everyone. And when I first started working with the agency, which has been maybe 2 years ago, there were barely any IT positions, but now that, after the pandemic, that area is really growing and there are many opportunities on our website for
Awesome.
IS professionals.
Yeah, no, that's great to know. That's a great answer. Perfect. Um, a couple more questions have come in. So Dana's asking about what would the typical caseload look like for the social services positions?
You know what? I've never had anybody complain that they can't, you know, handle the workload. It just depends, I guess, on, I'm sure it fluctuates, but it's a very healthy caseload because I've never heard anyone complain.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Yeah,
they are, I'm not hearing it, but no, I've never had heard of any issues with that,
okay.
with the caseload quantity.
Awesome, awesome. Kelly actually has a great question that I personally think is one that's probably pretty relevant for many people. So she's asking if you have held different positions at the same company on y'all's application, should that be listed out separately or more together? How would you recommend best selling movement within a company?
Definitely include all your relevant experience. So if you held 3 different titles within one company, then you fill out 3 separate sections on the employment application to count for all that experience that you're bringing to the table and to make sure you receive credit when we're grading your application. So definitely include it. But again, just break it down into the various sections depending on how many titles you held.
Okay, perfect. I love that answer. Awesome. So I see someone's typing, but I'm currently out of questions. I don't know, Mark, did you have any more?
I do have one. I have often thought of government, whether it's state or even federal employment, is one of the wonderful perks in the past, and this may have changed a bit anyway. Was a retirement benefit, a pension in the old days. So, but what does the state of Illinois offer in terms of retirement benefits at this time?
Well, you can, after 25 years of service with the state of Illinois, you can retire and start pulling a pension. So, I mean, if you start in your early 20s, then, you can retire in your mid 50s and start pulling a pension, which is great. And also, if you retire from the state covers your health insurance for the rest of your life. And that's huge because we know how
That is
expensive that is.
huge.
It's like another mortgage.
I was a
So,
little afraid to add. I wasn't sure pensions were even still going to be an option, but they are, and
yeah,
that's always been in my mind one of the major awesome benefits of government employment.
for sure. See, there you go.
Wait, I
Wow,
did
she's
have
lucky.
another question I had. I was going to ask you whether volunteer work could count toward experience, and you mentioned that in your presentation. Is it weighed as heavily as paid employment, the same or differently?
It's held the same. Yeah, we don't.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I used to work at Cook County, and I know Cook County gave you 0 credit. If it was unpaid, then you received no credit. But with the state, we actually give you credit for paid or unpaid experience.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And let's see. So Dana has another question I think is actually fantastic. What is the training and onboarding structure like for the high need positions that you mentioned? So such as like the social services and those other positions.
Yeah, and it really just depends on the title. Some titles require more training than the other. Um, but it will be a combination of some virtual training as well as some in office training. We offer an orientation, obviously, for all new employees because we're such a large agency. We typically do it over the phone or virtually, but there's definitely not a lack of training. Our goal is to set you up for success, and we make sure that you have the resources and the tools and the support.
Awesome. That's so important. That's great to hear. So kind of working backwards with the hiring process, so onboarding, but then taking a step back, approximately how long does the average hiring process take?
And that's where we get probably a big D. We hire for the entire state of Illinois, so things run a bit slower than what you're used to. Um, if you submit your application, after the application window closes, you're going to receive a grade in the mail. It's going to take at least 10 to 12 weeks. And right now, with people working virtually, things are not running as fast as we would like them to. So I would say 10 to 12 weeks to receive a grade notice. I'd say about maybe, up to 15 weeks to get a phone call from one of our testing centers to schedule you for an exam. And then after that, it really just depends on if those positions are available. For like this, for example, the social services career training, we have 75 offices. So it depends on the need of the offices throughout the state when positions become available. And then as soon as a position becomes available, what would we do is consult the eligible to hire list. And if your name is next on that list, then we're contacting you to offer you a job. So it's not the best answer, but it does take longer than usual. So a whole year may go by and we never hire you. And that's when you have to start the process over. But once you receive your grade, we can call you in a week. We can call you in a day. You just never know. You just have to be patient for a year.
I mean, I
But
can
anything can
appreciate
happen
you.
at any time.
Yeah, well, I mean, for better or for worse, I think that length of time isn't necessarily unusual for government, and I appreciate that you're upfront about that. And I think that you having the built-in expectations, I think, is excellent. So I appreciate that.
But now with the online application process for those specific titles, like a registered nurse, then it's much faster because it's all going through our applicant tracking platform. So things are much faster than a PDF CMS 100 form.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Good to know.
Yeah.
Mark, I saw your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. So we promised, I guess you could say, or we advertised that we were going to have you share some resume tips. We've got about 10 minutes left, so I guess I'd leave it up to you, Amelia, if you want to pull this. I know you had some slides, or if you just want to spitball it and share some things off the top of your head that you see with candidate resumes and things that you would suggest.
Okay, well, definitely. I'll just talk about it. I've been in recruitment for about 25 years now, and I definitely have um, my experience in reviewing resumes. And what I think the first thing we need to recognize is that um, the purpose of a resume is it's basically an advertising tool. And it's a marketing tool that's going to help employers get to know who we are, what we bring to the table, and identify by that resume if you are worth their time, if you are the best candidate for that job. So when you are creating a resume, um, it's very important. Your main goal is to make sure that it is easy on the eyes, that your resume is very organized, it's structured, and people might not realize it that a lot of organizations still get hundreds and hundreds of resume. I posted a job a few weeks ago, and over the weekend, it was literally posted Saturday and Sunday, and then by Monday I had 300 resumes. So a lot of organizations are using ATS systems that have artificial intelligence built in them. And what these platforms do is they review your resume and they're looking for specific words, for specific phrases. And it's not a human now reviewing your resume, it's a computer. And what the computer is looking for is for specific skill sets, experience, and that's how they're going to match, either qualify you or unqualify you for the job that you're applying for. So you want to make sure you keep your resume simple. Don't use any, crazy formatting or templates, because that's going to lessen the chance of this computer system being able to read what you bring to the table. So the priority really is creating a resume that is very structured, organized, easy to read. And not only just for humans, but also keep in mind computer systems are probably skimming through most of your resumes nowadays. Let's see what else. I'm just going through my slides real quick. Make sure you tailor your resume to the specific job you're applying for, because I remember working with my previous employer, we would receive resumes with cover letters addressed to a total different company or mentioning a total different uh, title that we didn't even hire for. So be very conscientious. Proofread your resume. Have a friend, a colleague proofread it. Give you feedback on, how you can improve your resume. Sometimes we look at our resume and we spend so much time with it. It's better to just let it go. Once you're done, take a break. Look at it the next day. Come back with a fresh eyes, fresh mind, and then you can pick up other other ideas on how you can enhance your resume. Let's see, leave unnecessary information out of your resume. If usually we say include the last 10 or 15 years of experience. If let's say you're a new teacher, you just graduated and you were a babysitter back in the day in high school, really, they don't really care about that. It's not going to really impact or bring any value to the position that you're applying for. So keep unnecessary information out. Always keep things positive. Do not talk about any negative information, uh, any negative experience. Don't ever address anything negative about a previous employer. So always keep things positive. Um, Polish your resume. There's many different tools out there, spell check tools. So there's no reason why you should have misspelled words, grammar, or punctuation. Use bullet points to organize your resume. Always include titles and dates. I've received resumes with no dates. That doesn't tell me much about how much experience you're bringing to the table. Also, be very conscientious of your email address. If you're out there looking for a job, make sure that when someone contacts your voicemail, it's a very professional and appropriate message. We don't need any, crazy music with foul language greeting us and asking us to leave a message, because more than likely we're just going to hang up. So make sure your email address is professional. As far as putting your resume together, use a chronological format with your most recent position at the top, and then work your way to your previous positions. Let's see here. Make sure you include your education, just relevant information on your resume. Let's see here. I talked about the negative part. And network, it's really important. Nowadays, networking is so much easier than back in the day. The internet offers so many resources and tools. And, Indeed, LinkedIn, Facebook. If you're out there looking for a job, it's okay, mention it. Write a post that you're looking for employment. You never know who a friend of yours, someone who's following you, may see it, may respond to it, may respond to your message, may forward your information to a employer that is hiring. Make those connections. You'd be surprised what comes out of it. And at the end of the day, I always say, whatever you put into it is really what you're going to get out of it. And be patient. Things are running not as efficient as they were back in, prior to COVID. So be very patient. Follow up. If you submit a resume, it's okay to follow up, but again, be patient and respect the application window deadlines. I would say an appropriate time to follow up on a resume is, 2 weeks after the application window closed. You can follow up. And I've seen it, a lot of times employers might be like, okay, you know what, I receive 100 calls with people following up on their resume. But I've also seen people get hired because they made that phone call. Again, we're getting 80 resumes. And if you call me on a good day, catch me on a good day, and I've not received those 80 resumes, but you're just following up, I'm going to go ahead. If I'm free, I'm going to take that phone call. I'm going to bring up your resume. I'm going to review it, and I may ask you questions. And we might have such a good connection that I might, push your resume forward because I've learned so much from you from that follow up. So, don't be shy and don't feel bad if you get rejected. It happens. It's not that you're a bad candidate. It's just that maybe someone else had more to offer. So don't take it to heart. Keep trying. That's just part of the way the process works.
Wow, great stuff. There was I thought, a very good question in the chat specific about resumes. What about individuals that have employment gaps? What might you suggest they do with their resume if they have a gap for some reason?
Well, you definitely want to be truthful because organizations will contact your references. They will do the math with the dates if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense. When we contact references, employers tend to be very honest with us. So if there are gaps, that's okay. Just be prepared to speak to why that gap is there. And you know what, with the way the market has been in the past 2 years, it's perfectly acceptable to see gaps. So I would say don't conceal them. Now, let's say you worked for 3 years at an organization and you were laid off. Let's say you were laid off and you were out for 6 months, but then you picked up this, let's say, cashier job for 2 months, and then you are out there looking again. You're no longer working as a cashier. Okay, I wouldn't include it. If it's under 6 months, I really wouldn't include it unless it is relevant experience that adds value to your candidacy. If it doesn't, I would not include it, but just be prepared to talk about it.
Well, we're just about at the top of the hour here. And I don't think there's any real burning questions left out there, Daisy, that I see. Do you? So, Amelia, I guess I'll take the opportunity to thank you very much. Really appreciate it, and you thank you for again going through the information about the department and the application process so quickly. You covered quite a bit, but still in a very comprehensible way, and lots of great tips too about resumes and a few other things for job seekers. And I think I'll just say that the fact that you have folks that can be career counselors to assist with the application process is amazing. So there's really no reason to get discouraged or not go for it. You can get help if you need it. So that's terrific. And of course, we can help you as well. So please contact us in Career Services if you need some help. So
Perfect.
yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And we look forward to staying in touch with you and having you back sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time and your interest and your support. And we're also here to guide. If anyone has questions regarding the process, a specific title, shoot us a quick email and we will reply accordingly. Thank you again. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
all. Thank you,
you.
Daisy. Thank you,
Welcome.
Dana.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Jen,
you
for all
for
your
sure.
great questions. See y'all later.
Bye.
Good night.